Glue has been one of the stars of this weekend so far.
Yeah.
So playing it safe by taking that out.
Everybody loves, I feel like lately, everybody loves the Roam Glue right now. So Phoveus seems to be the answer. He's going to have a whole lot of fun using the Infernal Pursuit, of course, with this lineup now. These last 2 picks for Team Falcons to round this up.
Yeah.
They need that XP, and they need their mid lane.
Yeah, no, matchup-wise, it would be okay to go Uranus. You already have a lot of control through the YSS, Uyo. But if you want something a bit more active for Flap, if you're considering picking up the R-Lot, the risk is you might also give the Final Slash to the Valentina that we've seen Valentinas try to go for. But maybe it's just up to Flap now to decide what he wants. I think an Alice would actually be okay. An Alice would be okay.
He did play the Alice really well previously. And we don't see the magic damage coming through just yet for Falcons. Okay.
Farsa,
There we go.
Alice.
Farsa
Yeah.
Alice.
All right. Classic matchup in the mid anyway. Farsa and Valentina are going to be there, so a couple good ultimates really that can be taken for the Valentina, and then the Kalita was mentioned earlier as well. So there it is. Both lineups locked in. Super fans, you guys can let us know what you think as well. Don't
With the Alice, because we saw yesterday they could get to the point where the Alice is unkillable and you have no options for it. And of course, if MP the King will be able to snowball with a Leomord.
Well, here we go. Jumping into the Land of Dawn. Both these teams came off of a sweep yesterday. One of them is going to have to lose today, and we'll see exactly who that's going to be as we round out Week 3 for the MPL Philippines. And already, when you're looking at this, any emblems sticking out here that are unusual?
Unusual? Not really, no.
Besides MP's marksman.
Besides MC's marksman emblem.
Yeah, I mean, for MP, that's normal.
It's normal for him.
He's the marksman emblem guy on the Leomord.
Yeah.
So far what we saw is Haji's regen got forced out early, and now Ogun just popped his regen as well. Kaloy decided to go into our perspective right mid-bush, jumping right away on Haji, forcing back his regen. And Kaloy will continue the aggression onto Ogun. So far it seems like because of the damage output of the Khalid, Sean and him are handling the mid lane duel. And typical of the YSS Claude matchup is that the Claude will be going back to base first for a quick regen. Super Marco will actually be able to speed up the farming pattern of Kyle by helping him get his Beetle. So it's expected for YSS Claude that YSS will most likely force Claude to go back first within the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, at least for Twisted Minds, the presence of Kaloy and Sean really handling the laning phase really well meant that there is some sort of restriction that we're seeing in terms of Kyle and the rotations he's trying to go for as of the moment. But it's not anything to be worried about for Falcons. At least they'll still be on track. MP the King, though. Oh, look at 4 members of Twisted already showing up here in mid.
Yep. Turtles up, first one in the game, so they're going to get a position. They're all here for it.
Yep, that's a
We'll
stun.
see it. Flap on the backside is going to go for the wings here. He's quite low.
He is, but at least there isn't any burst damage just yet to expect from Twisted Minds.
Yep.
He'll be able to handle himself pretty well and potentially will be here even for this upcoming fight.
Oh, whoa. Owen as well.
Oh, well, Owen did not expect that, but that was such a well-timed flicker! But the response, the flicker dark wave from Lansu was too well, too. Oh, Throne of Ruin! Landing onto Kyle now with the answer on Lansu. Now they get to trade. It's Sean up next, but he still has the flicker. MP the King, he gets stunned! And will he get taken down? It's a yes! Haji will find the kill! Now Falcons have regained their position in the turtle, and it's Kyle who gets it! Sean, the only man left, and a double for Kyle!
Massive turn by Falcons. Twisted Minds played their cards right with Lansu and Kaloy being aggressive and starting off the party. But Falcons, they held back, they reeled up. MP the King, I feel like, should have focused with Kaloy in taking down that turtle and just backing off. But MP decided to go for the more aggressive route. And now his purple buff is getting threatened here. But Kyle isn't close enough to go for the contest. Ogwin just provided the vision. Great turn by Falcons. They're now 2.4k up.
Yeah, that one team fight ends up getting them a pretty good lead already in this early portion of the game, which is going to be great for their scaling. And that's one of the things. You have to look at how they juggled around that turtle fight, and that's something that Twisted Minds is going to want to take in consideration here. It seemed like they had the upper hand, and then it just kind of fell apart so quickly, and maybe that was because Lansu got he went a little too Admiral on that one. He was like, I want to go for this kill.
Especially when we saw Flap already looking like he wasn't really in the best condition to actually help his team during that turtle fight, but it seemed like they were able to kite things out of it. Haji too was in a position where he didn't really have to expose himself. The feathered airstrike just laid down perfectly, and he even came closer after that because he knew that he could provide additional support.
Yeah, great repositioning by the Wings by Wings, and again, it was one of those scenarios where I'm just wondering why MP the King decided to turn on the heroes. I know he was trying to save Sean, but at that point, him and Kaloy had a good hold on the turtle. They could have just played for that, and if ever they didn't get it, back it off. But no point crying over spilled milk. We go back to reset for these two. Kyle now has 3 kills, and in terms of the gold, it's a 1,000 gold lead now for Kyle against MP the King.
That's not where you want to be. I mean, anyone against Tsuyo, right? You don't want to fall too far behind me because not only is his mobility crazy, but also the amount of damage that he can pump out here. So if you're looking at Twisted on where they can look to possibly win this next turtle, because that's going to be the focus for them, just the nature of these lineups is obviously surviving that initial setup and also keeping an eye on Flap. Flap has done this so many times on the Atlas now. Oh, you can see this. Sean actually taking the Mountain Shocker.
Yep.
They got to go grab this buff. They might be a little too late for this turtle take.
Yeah, and Owl won't be able to join anytime soon. So that's going to be a free objective. Feathered airstrike from Haji.
Oh, and they might lose the orange buff here because Haji was able to send Sean back. Oh, I thought Falcons would continue the aggression, but they decided not to risk it. So MP the King will still be able to get his orange buff.
Yeah, he'll grab that. That was pretty much an uncontested objective. They don't have to worry too much. So right now what that's telling us is Team Falcons has this control, and Twisted is more opting to kind of wait for that moment. I'm wondering, too, if part of the plan here is also depending on what Sean decides to take, you know, if it's going to be that feathered airstrike.
Yeah.
And you have to also take into the fact that when you have these multiple ultimates to take as a Valentina, the ones you take in these earlier team fights will change the course of this game, because even if they don't force a fight, the way Team Falcons is farming, they're slowly getting further and further ahead against Twisted. But we have seen, you know, those 4,000 or 5,000 gold leads before be turned over off of one team fight.
Yeah, and you see with Thunderbelt already on, and as the game goes on, it's actually difficult for the Khalid and the Valentina to manage this Marcel. Ogwen has been literally taking pictures of Kaloy nonstop like he's in a cosplay con or something.
This feels like a man-to-man defense that we're seeing. Conceal play from Ogwen. Now he spots Owl. There's no one nearby, but it's just all to take or buy time.
Yeah, literally all vision on Kaloy. It's hard for Twisted Minds to find an opening elsewhere, and that makes the first main loss that they got in the first turtle even more devastating. Kyle goes in.
That's a stun landing on Kaloy. Does he have the quick sand guard? Not going to use it just yet. They have position over this purple buff. And Kyle is just going to freely take it away from MP the King.
This Team Falcons is literally just saying, like, come fight us if you want. If not, we'll just continue to take what we want. So MP at least gets an objective. He takes the tier 1 up top down, and it's really just for them to kind of get to that point where they have that power spike that they're looking for. And, you know, it's going to be in a couple different areas. A feathered airstrike used from Sean, but quickly averted as he has to get out of there because he is quite low. He's at half health. But look at this, the turtle is up, third one of the game. We'll see if Twisted even wants to contest this one.
Timing-wise, though, MP the King has to get his orange buff first, and they're going to be able to melt this down really quickly. Twisted Minds are going to be looking for recovery and trying to go for Lord 1 instead later on.
Yeah, and they also use their resources, or I mean, Sean at least, used that feathered airstrike earlier too. It seems like Twisted Minds weren't really in position. And Flap right now, this is what we were talking about earlier. If the Alice comes to a point where they're just not able to deal with him, that's just a lot of pressure that they could put across the map. But the Raging Sandstorm was also burned by Kaloy.
I mean, the Haji did use the flicker, so I guess that's a small win.
Bit of a win there, but still you're seeing what Twisted is forced to do, man. They're just kind of holding on to their turret, staying around it, trying to brace themselves and not get deleted because of a feathered airstrike actually does quite a bit of damage to them, and then the threat of Kyle. So it's one of those things, again, where Twisted is kind of, I don't know if this is the nature of a Claude now in a lot of compositions, where you're hoping and you're banking on the fact that Claude will just come online once he hits the Trinity. We even heard in the mic checks yesterday, you know, respect the Trinity, because, again, that is such a big power spike for a Claude, and you can see he's got 2. He's got the DHS and the Golden Staff right now, so give Owl some time here. Hopefully they just have enough time to get to that point. They're trying to hold on to this tier 1 in the mid, though, but they're just getting poked down.
Wow.
But they are holding on to it.
Yeah.
Seems like Falcons are also making the most of those little stuns that Ogwen is able to dish out with the Marcel, whether it's just a quick little follow-up by Haji or even a quick little evil queller coming in from Kyle. It's just enough to pose a little bit of a threat that Twisted Minds needs to think about. And so far, it's just all Marcel, all controlling the game.
Yeah, I've almost never seen Ogwin away from at least Kaloy or MP the King in this entire game.
Yeah, you see now they're just constantly swapping him and Flap. Ogwin will sometimes go all the way far back to get more vision, and then Flap comes in as the roamer to front for Haji and the rest of Falcons, and then they'll interchange that. Feather Dare Strike there in the mid forces members of Twisted Minds to go back. It's going to be a really tough Lord 1 here for Twisted Minds, almost impossible. If MP the King can somehow take it, it just proves the point I was making earlier about jungling being the hardest role.
I don't know if you'd want that though. That's a 4-level gap.
4 levels.
Yeah.
Existing between these two junglers. Ogwin and Flap 2 are not letting anyone entry or not allowing any form of entry for Twisted Minds.
Okay, Kaloy's going to get... He does heal back up a bit, but he's still low, so he's got to reset. This is a clear sign for Team Falcons to go ahead and take the Lord here. So Twisted finds himself just in a position of, we got to give up more objectives. If you think about this game, the nature... Whoa, Kaloy!
Oh, that's Ogwin!
Golden hour.
Oh. But then even the turret shots will land.
Yeah.
So
the turret is already marked in on the Marcel. It's just because of the nature of the golden hour. It delays the projectiles coming out. That's why Ogwin got bursted down.
He was gone.
He was gone. And of course, within the golden hour, the only one that can deal damage is Marcel. So that's the only damage that goes through when golden hour is up. That's why he was able to take down Kaloy.
And I was just going to say, you know, this game, other than the roamers just forcing a kill on each other there, it all was in that first hurdle, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, like, we really haven't seen much other fighting in a sense, even from Twisted. So if you're looking at this, you know, for nearly 8 minutes, they've had time to go ahead and build up what they need, but are they in a position? The stacks are crazy. A Divine Glaive for Sean now, too. We do see usually that poke damage being pretty much of a threat, plus the Terrify interaction that comes with the Valentina. I think almost at this point they need some really miracle Raging Sandstorm with a Blazing Duet combo for Twisted. They should still survive this first Lord though. The shields are going to pop down bot. They still maintain the mid for just a second before those go out too. And we'll see. Team Falcons was 7,000 ahead. Are they going to force it?
oh, there goes the Raging Sandstorm and the Flicker Dark Wave! Haji now very low, still flickers out to safety, and the counter Throne of Ruin too from Flap. This might just be an opportunity for Falcons to fight back. There goes the Blazing Duet coming in from Owl, and still Marco alive, just the same! Kyle too almost taking out the trades, and MP the King gets punished there. But before he goes down, Ogwin too gets taken out.
Yeah, I gotta credit Twisted Minds. That looked good for them at one point, but then Falcons, it just shows the resource gap that they have, that despite all of the damage that they took from Twisted Minds, they executed it as well as they could, but Falcons defended even better. Super Marco's moves there were insane, maximizing his Traceless and his Flicker to get away from MP the King, who almost took him down. And then in the end, since they weren't able to take Super Marco down, that just ended up becoming a big win for Falcons.
Yeah, granted the fact that they were down, you know, 7,000 gold, I still say Twisted did a pretty good job at defending that and handling it. It would have been better, obviously, if they could cap out that kill on Super Marco. You saw it, too. The heart rate monitor for Super Marco was up to 135
That's surprising.
after surviving that with 1 HP, basically. But
Even Haji.
Yeah, even Haji. But Twisted finds a little bit of hope, I'd say. They're still massively behind. I don't even know if they're going to see them contest this next Lord up in less than 30 seconds here. But essentially, they bought the time they needed. And I'm wondering if, again, they do decide to contest this Lord, can they actually get a setup utilizing this composition? And that is specifically is allowing Kaloy to get a Raging Sandstorm off, or vice versa, whatever they decide to actually approach the fight with here.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think in that scenario, they knew they had to go first. But in areas like this, where Falcons are the first to position themselves, we haven't seen a big Throne of Ruin setup started by Flap or Ogwin just being the guy to go in and then maximizing again that brief stun you get from those picture taking.
I think they might want to, though.
Yeah, they have to try at least. And if ever you already see a loss early on in the fight, then you're going to have to back off. MP the King is still 1 level behind Kyle.
Yep.
Doable now, more so. Let's see if he can hit 15 with this purple buff. He might not be able to just yet.
Oh, Sean's positioning himself somewhere.
He's got the Throne of Ruin.
Yeah.
He has that, the dive. Owl just built up a Wind of Nature as well. Falcons still, rightfully so, playing this a little bit slower, waiting to build just a smaller advantage first, and that might be it.
It'd almost be better if Twisted was able to get out one of the key ultimates here, but they're getting poked down quite a bit. Kaloi can always heal back up with a quicksand guard. So at least they have that, but half health and lower, they might just call it to disengage and defend. They looked for an opportunity, but now Kaloi.
Okay, that's the Raging Sandstorm caught in the golden arc. Kaloi once again might not get out of this alive. Still has a quick sand to the flicker though, and now it's actually Kyle who might get taken down. That's a shutdown for MP the King, but Super Marco in this fight, he's getting chased here by MP the King, but Flap is holding down. All other members of Twisted Minds gets terrified, and Owl blazing to it on Super Marco, forcing out the flicker. BMI out for now.
There's some life from Twisted Minds. Kaloi, I said he was going to have to do something. Well, there you go. He started that whole thing.
Yeah, clutch terrified by Sean as well, which led to Kyle going down relatively quickly in that fight. And that's why you saw Falcons, despite the lead that they had to play that carefully because they knew that Twisted Minds, condition-wise, had enough damage. Hell, even in the last fight that we saw close to the bottom lane turret in base earlier, that was already a warning shot that Twisted Minds is starting to hurt. That's why they had to play it slow. So the initial condition was when Ogwin got that 3-man micro stun onto Twisted Minds, that's when you saw that Flap and him already had the formation so that they could quickly take the Lord. But in the fight, Twisted Minds are definitely still in this. This 5,000 gold lead is a bit of a mirage. You can't fall for it, man.
Yeah, I am.
Sweet dream right now.
Starting to feel the marksman emblem.
Yeah.
It's more than that too. I think even Kaloi, I'm not sure if he's actually going to go and build the Blade of Hepsies because he did have the dagger there, but he does have enough defense, I feel like, now too, to kind of withstand the initial burst, and that's kind of what we're seeing. And also just playing around the timings of the quicksand guard. And so for Team Falcons, I think even they'll keep themselves in check a little bit more once this Lord comes up in about a minute and 10. But this is what we've been wanting to see from Twisted. They needed to buy enough time to catch up into this game. It was pretty much just a null game for them after that Turtle 1. Well, now they're in a position to actually contest, it seems, here. But the stack's obviously still building here for Ogwin. He is still a nuisance, and the golden hour can still change some of these team fights the way that starts, but it can also work against them in a way too.
Yeah, earlier.
And so we've seen that a couple times now. So let's see what Team Falcons decides to do. All this time though is helping Twisted.
Yeah, 40,000 damage dealt by Sean. Orange buff will end up going to Kyle, so Wrath Theft Orange there for Falcons. So Sean needs to maximize his terrifying the damage that he's been dealing throughout. The quick rush on the Divine Glaive. Definitely being felt there by the squishier members of Falcons, specifically Kyle. So you have to watch out for Sean's positioning and Kyle's timing of entry, because if he gets terrified again, he might just go down as quick as he did in the last engagement.
Yeah,
get bursted.
Even earlier, it seemed like Sean was trying to look for these off angles.
Yeah.
He was starting to steal away the Throne of Ruin rather than the Fettered Airstrike. And maybe that's what they might want to pair up with the Raging Sandstorm and the Blazing Duet. That's still a combo that clearly worked out for them.
Yeah, good push up top by Twisted Minds. Falcons might need to consider thinking about that wave, so that's their advantage. While Falcons push the minions down bottom, it's going to be a full 5v5 fight. No, wait, Kyle was the one assigned to get upside first. Twisted will get advantage here because of that.
Oh, that hurts.
Full Feathered Airstrike checking things. Lancer jumps in.
Yeah, Flicker, Dark Wave, canceling out Haji, but the Phantom Steed! Everyone gets caught in the Golden Ore, the Mountain Shocker! Landing on multiple members, but still Twisted Minds with the sustain or fighting back. But then, we haven't seen Kyle just yet, and here he comes! That's the Throne of Ruin from Sean, but it's a bit too late!
And the bull. Let's see if they have enough minion waves or if Kaloi will be able to destroy the 2 minion waves coming in through mid. Falcons have their eyes dead set on ending this.
Okay.
It's Kaloi.
Kaloi versus 1 minion. He gets stunned, he gets bursted down, and there's no defense happening for Twisted Minds. Team Falcons are taking this game.